SRM School of Film Technology, Ramapuram offers 3 years degree program in film technology. I am proud to be an alumni.
sweetkadai.com திருநெல்வேலி ஹல்வா போன்ற நம்ம ஒரு ஃபேமஸ் தின்பண்டங்களை இப்போவே ஆர்டர் பண்ணுங்க.
Behind words, மாத்தி யோசி with Agni. இன்னைக்கு எபிசோட் ரொம்ப ஸ்பெஷலான ஒரு எபிசோடாக இருக்க போகுது. ஏன் அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா நிறையா ஆக்டர்ஸ், நிறையா ஃபிலிம் பர்சனாலிட்டிஸ், ஆண்டர்ப்ரனர்ஸ்லாம் நம்ம இன்டர்வியூ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். அதில் ரொம்ப முக்கியமானவர்னு இவரை வச்சுக்கலாம் நம்ம இன்டர்வியூ பண்ண போகிறவர். ஏன்னா பறக்கிறது அப்படிங்கிறது மனிதர்களுக்கு எப்போவுமே வயசு வித்தியாசம் பார்க்காம ஒரு ரொம்ப எக்ஸைட்டிங்கான ஒரு விஷயமாகவே இருந்திருக்கு. காசு இருக்கிறவங்க மட்டும்தான் ஏரோப்ளேனில் போக முடியும் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு காலகட்டம் இருந்தது. ₹1 ஏரோப்ளேன் டிக்கெட் கொடுத்து பல மக்கள், பாமர மக்களை ஃப்ளைட் ஏற்றி பறக்க வச்சவர் தான் கேப்டன் கோபிநாத் அவர்கள்.
I also sold a lot of tickets at 4,000, 5,000. Even when I gave it at 4,000, a lot of seats were empty. Give them at ₹1, 2-3 seats at ₹500, 2-3 seats at ₹1,000. So in a way, the rich subsidize the poor.
சமீபத்தில் ரிலீஸ் ஆகிக்கூடிய சூரிய போட்டோட டீசர் பார்க்கும்போது உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். GR கோபிநாத் அவர்களுடைய வாழ்க்கை வரலாறு தழுவி எடுக்கப்பட்ட ஒரு படம் தான்.
Heard that they have done a lot of dramatization, fictionalization. I think many biopics are not 100% true to the life of the person. He just wanted to meet me because he had read the book. So he just came to say hello. It's a courtesy call, and he said, "Captain, I admire you. I loved the story, and I want to do it. So give me your thumbs up." I said, "Fine."
கோபிநாத் அவர்களை மீட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக இங்கே பெங்களூர் வந்திருக்கோம். இது அவருடைய இடம். இங்கே தான் அவருடைய ப்ரைவேட் சார்ட்டர்ட் ஃப்ளைட்ஸ்லாம் அவர் நிப்பாட்டியிருக்காரு. பின்னாடி இருக்கிற ஹெலிகாப்டர் உட்பட.
We started here in 1995, 96. That was the time we founded the company. We started in a tent here, and eventually we built all these facilities. But we are in 15 locations.
கோபிநாத் அவர்களை மீட் பண்ணி நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நம்ம பேச போகிறோம். அவருடைய லைஃப் ஜேர்னியை பற்றியும், அவருடைய ஆண்டர்ப்ரனர்ஷிப் பற்றியும், சூரிய போட்டு படத்தை பற்றியும் நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பேச போகிறோம். ஸோ ஐ ஹோப் இட் வில் பி அ வெரி குட் இன்ட்ராக்ஷன். வாங்க போகலாம். Hello Captain.
Hi.
Nice to have you on my show.
Yes, happy to be here.
So Surya Potru is based on your book Simply Fly. So what was your mindset when the team approached you with the idea? Would you call it your biopic?
Yeah, I heard that they have done a lot of dramatization, a lot of fictionalization to make it. I think many biopics are not 100% true to the life of the person. Maybe they have taken liberties. I do not know. I have not seen it. I told them to be faithful to the spirit of the book. The spirit of the book is about adventure. It's about a small town, rural boy, village boy going barefoot to a school, going to a Kannada medium school, where my father was a poor teacher. So it's the story of a young boy with dreams. It is also the story about how life is full of not only adventure, it is full of obstacles, and it is full of trials and tribulations. There will always be problems, but if you have courage, if you have determination, if you have hard work, it's not money that matters. Money will come and money will go, but it is your spirit of adventure. That's what I told them to keep in mind. And so I think it's based on my book, based on my life story. It's inspired by that. I think for various reasons they have not kept it true to the exact narrative of the story. But though the actual narrative may be more, sometimes, as they say, truth is stranger than fiction. Maybe my real life was probably more adventurous than in the movie, because in the movie, of course, there was no that kind of song and dance which probably he shows. But largely it is, I think, it's a story to inspire people from the village, saying that don't keep on complaining that, because normally you hear from the village, I don't have anybody, I don't have political godfathers, I don't have rich people in my family, my father was not. Don't complain. You have to create your own future. You have to write your own jatak. You have to script your own horoscope. Right. You create your horoscope. Try and overcome the circumstance. Make circumstances indifferent.
So did Mr. Surya meet you in order to understand you as a
Yeah, I
person?
think the first Gunit Manga who came, she's from Bombay. She told me that she had made Lunchbox, she had made Haram Khor, she had also made Gangsta Wasepur with another director, I think Anurag Kashyap. So she was quite accomplished, and she was herself a firebrand. Though another big producer had just approached me that time, but somehow I felt, like in my own life, a lot of people helped me. So I met her and I felt, I must give her the opportunity because she was young and she was fighting from a background of difficulties. And basically that's what I told her. I said, you have to make it, don't go too much in departure from the book.
Yeah.
In terms of, it should truly inspire people. It should look realistic. Even though you may have dramatized it, it should look realistic, that it is possible in this world.
Right.
To do things, to achieve things. And so I gave her the film rights, and then she in turn, told her to do Hindi first, but she said a Tamil director, Sudha Kongara, had approached her, so she wants to first do the Tamil, like in Bombay, Mani Ratnam's movie.
Yeah.
Because the Sudha was working in Mani Ratnam's studios as an assistant director to Mani Ratnam. So I said fine, and so it's coming in Tamil now. So I met Sudha, she interviewed me, met my family, met my other colleagues. There's Captain Samuel, who's my other co-founder, Captain Jayant, who's another co-founder. There were other team members who made it happen. It's not just me. There were a lot of other team members, especially Captain Samuel, Captain Jayant Povaya, John Kurvila, my family. She met all of them over a period of 2-3 days. She camped here. Then I met Gunit a few times. She said she will do Hindi next year.
Mm-hmm.
She's almost, I think, finalized it. So now it will be in this.
Right. So is there a question that Mr. Surya asked that you found a little intriguing?
No, he just wanted to meet me because he had read the book, and so he just came to say hello. It's a courtesy call, and we just chatted for half an hour. And he said, "Captain, I admire you. I loved the story, and I want to do it. So give me your thumbs up." I said, "Fine."
So there is also a romantic angle given to the film. So is that also a fictional element that was added? Or
I think I think part of it is fictional, part of it is true.
Uh-huh.
I have to see the film myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there are some adventures there, some romance there. So I don't know how they have sort of woven the story. I had to see it myself because of all this COVID. I couldn't see it. Otherwise, they were supposed to screen it for me.
Right.
Before the premiere,
release, yeah.
actual premiere in the theatre. We were supposed to have a premiere, but I think the events have changed now. I think October 30th they are going to do the release.
Yes.
Yeah.
Captain Gopinath அவர்கள் என்கிட்ட பேசும்போது நம்ம ஜாதகத்தை நாம தான் எழுதணும் அப்படின ஒரு விஷயம் சொன்னாரு.
You have to write your own jatak. You have to script your own horoscope.
அவருடைய ஒரு கனவு பெரிய ஏர்லைன் கம்பெனி வைக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறது, நிறைய பேரை பறக்க வைக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறது. அந்த கனவை அவர் காணும்போது அவர் கையில் எதுவுமே கிடையாது. ஸோ அவர் நமக்கு சொன்ன மாதிரியே அவருடைய ஜாதகத்தை சொந்தமாக எழுதியிருக்காரு. அதுக்கு ஒரு சாட்சி தான் பின்னாடி பார்க் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கிற அந்த ஏர்கிராஃப்ட். Talking about adventure, Captain, were you an angry young man when you were young? Because throughout the teaser of the film, Surya looks so angry.
Yeah, I think, in one interview for some TV, somebody asked my people, and he said, "How is he?" They said, he's nice, but he's always impatient. He's always angry. In the sense that I was so obsessed, which is not the right. Maybe it may not be the right thing always. I was so obsessed with my dream. I was so obsessed to the point of madness. I was very impatient and angry if people did not buy into that dream. So I would joke, with my pilots, before the phone rings, you must answer it. There may be a medical evacuation. Somebody may want a helicopter for an accident. Pick up the phone before it rings. It's not possible, but pick it up before it rings. You can't take your own time. So my secretary, who passed away, Cecilia, God bless her, she told, he's always impatient.
That's because of a constant.
Always angry.
Yeah.
Angry I would say in a good sense.
Yeah.
It may not be good for my blood pressure, but it was in a good sense. I don't know. I didn't want people to be laid back,
Yeah.
and taking it easy. Yeah.
You can't tolerate indiscipline, is it?
Yeah, not. I used to say that in the airline, your the checks you write, they fly faster than your airplanes. There was so much of pressure. But also by nature. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. There are good things and bad things. So people, that's why in my book they can take the good things that they find.
So those who are going to watch the film Suriya Pottu might wonder if Captain Gopinath would come back with a low-cost air carrier. So will he be back?
Yeah, many times for things to happen, you need, of course, a big dream. You have to dream big. Then you have to have combine that with adventure, combine it with hard work, courage, and also a lot of luck, a lot of grace. Things had to fall in place, and it all clicked last time. And fortune favors the brave. You get luckier if you work harder. You get luckier if you are more courageous. And maybe now again, because the country is under crisis, and every time there is a crisis, every time there is trouble, there is always an opportunity. And I think now the opportunity is again there, because most of the airlines are in huge debt. And the bigger the airline, bigger the problem. So to start now is a big opportunity. It's also a big risk. So who knows? Maybe we can start again.
If there's a chance, you're going to grab it just like that. Yeah.
I mean, that's what opportunities. You see, the world has never been secure. People say today is bad. COVID is there. India-China war. The world recession. Global terror. The world has always been insecure.
Right.
It was always insecurity, but opportunities were always there. Opportunities are security is very rare. If you look at last 1,000 years, the number of years the world was peaceful and secure, that number of years is very less. It's largely turmoil. So while that is true, while there is no insecurity, there are always opportunities. While there is no security, there are always opportunities.
Rightly said, yes. Where the fuck should I go? Let's talk about this giant figure at the background. So how many of these machines do you have here?
We have about 3-4 here, these helicopters, but we also have business jets, which we are operating and maintaining for third parties.
Okay.
We started here in 1995, 96, that was the time we founded the company. So we started with one helicopter, we started in a tent here, and eventually we built all these facilities, but we are in 15 locations. This is the original company which started with helicopters and small planes and business jets. That was in 97. Then in 2003 I started the airline, the Air Deccan, which I then eventually sold to Vijay Mallya, the low-cost airline.
Yes.
Which became famous for ₹1 ticket, and which had the logo of the common man, a cartoon of R.K. Lakshman.
Captain, Air Deccan broke not just the cost barrier, but also the caste barrier.
Yes, right.
So, is there a specific incident, or when did you see that actually happening?
In fact, my launch advertisement was, we have no caste barrier. We have only one class. All 180 seats. Because in those days you had business class and premium and then economy, or business class and economy. And we said, we have no caste barrier, we have only one class. Everybody, carpenter, mason, plumber, farmer, anybody, whosoever pays the lowest ticket they get. And you can be sitting next to a villager, you can be sitting next to a plumber, a carpenter. So we said that class barrier is not there and the caste barrier is not there. So there's no class barrier, there's no caste barrier. And we also broke the cost barrier.
Yes.
Because, so that was an ad we had. That worked because we just said that you buy a ticket, there are no seats, like in a train, third class, buy the ticket, first come, first served, you go and sit where you want. So people loved it, So there's no question of standing behind a rich man or no, anybody can go and take a, so they would throw the towel, throw a handkerchief,
Just like in a
my
bus.
seat.
You made that simple, is it?
And that also brought down my cost. You
Yeah.
know, because the moment you try to control many of those things, then there is cost. Though of course it was a little chaotic, but it was fun.
Yeah.
You know, in the sense that you open the thing and tell people you go and sit where you want. The 180 seats, 180 passengers. You sit where you want, and the moment you sit, we'll go. There was one chaos on one side, but it was also we didn't have to keep on announcing plane is leaving, please come, please come. So they would be there at the gate, ready to go and jump and occupy. And so the moment they occupied, and we also told them that there was no food going to be served there, only snacks.
Uh-huh.
And the air hostess will come with the bag, so please put it. There will be no cleaning, because the moment they get down, the next flight will come. So because otherwise in the regular airline, you have to clean the aircraft. It will take 1 hour.
Right.
Somebody has to come and clean all that. So we tell them, last before landing, the air hostess would come with the bag and say, please put all your garbage. So that's how we run it, and so that is efficient and low cost both. And I would see many of these seats going, even if I give it away at 2,000, many seats were going, even though the regular fare was 12,000 in Jet Airways and 12,100 in Air India. There were only 3 airlines and Sahara. I was giving my tickets at 4,000, 5,000.
Yes.
But even when I gave it at 4,000, a lot of seats were empty. That's when I said give some at 1,000, give some at 500. Then I said, okay, anyway some seats are going empty, give them at 1 rupee. Some, not all seats. Every flight, give 2-3 flights at 1 rupee, 2-3 seats at 500 rupees, 2-3 seats at 1,000 rupees. So in a way, the rich subsidize the poor, because I also sold a lot of tickets at 4,000, 5,000, and on the last 2 days, about 25% tickets, I sold it from 5,000 to 10,000. So the average was, we had to get an average in those days of about 3,700. Every seat must have 3,700
Okay.
per seat into 180. So that comes to some 6 lakhs or something like that. As long as they got 6 lakhs. How I got the 6 lakhs? Some people paid 1 rupee, some people paid 500, some people paid 1,000, and some paid 4, and some people paid 10,000. Still, some people may have paid about 11. Still, it was cheaper than Jet Airways. That's how our flights were going full.
Captain, with such low airfares, envy finds its way. So how did you manage to handle it?
Yeah, I mean, it was not easy. There were a lot of other challenges we had. Because we were expanding, we were losing money. Because if I did not expand, what Jet would do, they would put one flight next to my flight, before my flight, at a lower fare. And then he had 400 flights, and in the other 400 flights, he would have a higher fare, so that he could kill me. Therefore, I had to expand. So when he started lowering his fare, he was also bleeding. So if I had a lot of flights, then he will bleed more. I will not bleed that much. So I was still losing money because I was expanding. I put 1 aircraft a month, every month for 48 months. So it was a huge expansion. And unfortunately for us at that time, the oil price, which was at 20 rupees a litre, it went to about $145 a barrel. So that created a huge, stress on the airline, because 50% of the aircraft cost is fuel on a ticket. It was tough, it's not easy, but we were the largest airline in 3 years.
Yeah.
And largest in the number of cities. We also went to a lot of cities where nobody was going. We eliminated all the middlemen. You see, before Deccan came, you could only buy a ticket in Jet Airways through a travel agent.
Right.
You couldn't buy it directly. So we changed that. We said you can buy as an individual directly on the internet.
Right.
The travel agent also can buy on behalf of the customer, but he will charge 5% more. If the ticket is 2,000, he will charge 2,100.
So the company which was handling the IT infrastructure for Air Deccan secretly started building its own airlines.
Yes, that's right. That
So-
is there in my book.
Yeah.
These are all, I think,
Must have been hard to digest. How did you?
It was. You could say it was. Somebody would say it is a sabotage, breach of trust, and somebody will say it is all is fair in love and war. All is fair in business. You can do anything. It is also stupidity on my part that the person whom I trusted had not put a proper legal contract that he cannot start an airline if he is now handling this one. So that dispute caused a lot of problems. But then it's part of the business.
So that's how you just continue
We
with your work.
continued and we changed it.
Captain, do you remember your first flying experience?
Yeah, the first experience was when I was in the army. I went in a military helicopter once and a military plane another time. And of course, that was in the Himalayas. I went as a passenger. I was posted in Sikkim on the Chinese border. Then I was posted in Kashmir. That was, it's difficult to explain. It is a thrilling experience for anybody, any child. To sit in a plane is a great experience, regardless of how old you are. And then much later, there's an army friend of mine, a colleague of mine who was also part of the Air story. Captain Vishnu Raval had come here in a helicopter to HL. And he and I flew in that helicopter, which he had brought it for maintenance. We flew it from Bangalore to my farm, where I was then living after the army. So we landed in my farm. We just chose the fields there, the crop fields of ragi and jawar, where we were growing. So it had been harvested, so it was open field. So he landed there, had some tender coconut and lunch, and then he brought me and he flew off. And that's when this idea came into my mind that, it's the helicopter. In fact, there is one ad there, if you can see. That was my first ad. If it's in the map, we'll take you there.
If it's on the map, we'll take you there. Wow.
If it's on the map, we sure it is on the map, we'll take you there. The helicopter can take you anywhere. So we took that helicopter and put it on a fishing camp with the Kaveri River.
Yeah.
And then from the top, we took a picture. That's how the idea came, that we should start a helicopter company for the public. In those days only about 5-6 people had helicopters in India. The very rich, like the Birlas. Even Ambanis did not have a helicopter then. Usually using it for themselves as more a prestige, or they were using it as political patronage. They were not using it for customers. So I said they have no competition because nobody's got a service for customers.
And there's a dialogue in the teaser which says even Ratan Tata wasn't able to establish an airline business here.
Ratan Tata wale inga or airline ஆரம்பிக்க முடியல.
So do you still think establishing an airline business or the total airline business is a tedious one in our country?
It's not easy because somehow airline is still controlled a lot. Though of course a lot of reforms have been made, a lot of this one, but still there is already a guideline, so anybody should be able to fill up that and get it. But still in the end it goes to a minister. See, when you already set that these are the 10 conditions to fulfill for an airline, then if you fulfill those conditions, the officer should be able to issue the license. But even if you fulfill all that, it then again goes to the minister for his final approval, which causes undesirable results in undesirable, because the minister may like you, may not like you, he may be corrupt, he may not be corrupt.
Yeah.
So there is a personal element introduced there. And then there are a lot of other rules and regulations. Some are required and some are excessive, coming back from British times. Like many of our laws are from the British times. Our sedition law is from British times. The Indian Official Secrets Act is from the British times. So many of the laws in the aviation are also pre-independence. So a lot of reforms are still needed, but still the fact that I could start an airline shows that anybody can start an airline, provided you have the grit and determination. Of course, if you take money and you want a faster clearance, somebody will take the money and give you the clearance. But it's also possible, that's what I said, it's possible to do it without paying somebody. I did not pay anybody, but it took me more time. I did not pay 1 rupee to get my license, to get my clearances. So we did it because we had another good friend of mine who was with me, who was ready to work with me, and together we did it. Yeah.
Do you still enjoy flying an aircraft?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thrill. Absolutely, it is nothing like that. Yeah.
இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஜெட் தான் வானத்தில் பறக்கும்போது நாம் சின்ன பசங்களாக இருக்கும்போது ஆகாயத்தை பார்த்து ஒரு ஃபேசினேஷன் நம்மளுக்கு வந்திருக்கும். அப்படி ஒரு ட்ரீம் தான் கேப்டன் கோபிநாத் அவர்களுக்கும். சின்ன வயசில் அவர் கண்ட கனவு இன்றைக்கி இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு 3-4 ஏர்க்ராஃப்ட் பெங்களூரில் ஏர்போர்ட் பக்கத்தில் இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு இடத்துல வந்து பார்க் பண்ணி வச்சுருக்காரு. ஸோ தட் இஸ் தி பவர் ஆஃப் ட்ரீம். அவர் சாதித்தது பல விஷயங்கள். நம்ம அது எல்லாத்தையுமே வந்து இந்த இன்டர்வியூவில் பேசியிருக்கோம். So what made you join the army, Captain?
Well, I was in my village going to the Kannada medium school, and one day the headmaster came there to the school and said that there is an examination for a military school called the Sainik School. In those days, each state had one Sainik school which was just set up. So this school was the first batch. It was still not set up, but for the first batch, they were calling for examination. I was in my 7th standard. I was about, I think, 12. I just put up my hand, saying that I want to write the exam. And I do not know why. Nobody in the village, in the school, nobody else put up the hand to write the exam. And my grandfather had written a poem, which I read much later. It says, "Gudi aache, gidadache, gadi aache, hogona bandiro hosanadike." That means, Gudi aache, beyond the temples. Gidadache, beyond the forests. Gudi aache, beyond the temples, beyond the forests. Gadi aache, beyond the borders. Let's go and discover new lands.
Wow.
So I did not know anything about military. I had only seen these boards. Even now in Karnataka, you can see it in villages, military hotel. So I asked my father once, what is that military hotel? He would say that, there are people who eat non-vegetarian, because in military they eat non-vegetarian, it makes them strong. And I was a little skinny boy. So I somehow because I had to be bullied in school, somehow I felt, if I go to the military, then I can teach all these boys a lesson, who are bullying me in the school. So in that sense, I also was dreaming to go out of the village, to see new things. And I just said, and I went and took the exam. I went by bus and stayed in my uncle's house and took the exam, and I failed. I failed because the exam was in English. Then I told my headmaster in tears, I said, look, I did not answer because everything was in English. So he got very upset and went away. So he wrote a letter in a postcard in anger to the headquarters in Delhi, saying that how can you give exam to children in rural areas in English? You should give it to them in their mother tongue. And somebody saw that postcard in Delhi, written from a village headmaster. And they said, we will give one more exam in Kannada. Again he came and said, look, Kannada exam, who will go? And again I was the only kid in my school. I said yes. So I went, this time I passed. Then I joined the Sainik School.
Wow.
And that's how I joined. Then went to the NDA, National Defence Academy, and the Indian Military Academy. Then in the academy, the war broke out. So the Bangladesh war. So I went to the Bangladesh war.
Okay.
Then after the war, I was in Sikkim, I was in Bhutan, I was in Kashmir, in Rajasthan, and after about 8 years of service, 8 years of training, one day I said, look, I must come do something on my own. So I came back to my village and took to farming.
Farming, yes. So, entrepreneur, farmer, captain, author, which is the most fulfilling role?
I think the most fulfilling is farming. It's the most difficult vocation to succeed, but it is also the most noble, most satisfying. Like someone said, the first man was the first farmer. The first farmer was the first man. The man who came into this world first, he was a farmer. So it's nice. So I went and took to farming. During the farming, like all farmers, I got into debt. So I also started doing a lot of other things to support my family, because I got married when I was there. In fact, my wife came to see me in a bullock cart.
Wow.
Because there was no road between the bus stand and my farm, which is about 4 kilometers. So my neighbor Manjegowda, God bless him, he is no more, he gave his bullock cart to bring my wife from the bus stand to so she came with her father, mother. I was living in a tent. I told her that you must come and see, because there was nothing there. It was not a fancy farm. It was all brushed land, barren land, which I was trying to create into a farm. It was a miracle that the bullock cart reached, because as it was approaching, you could hear the bells and all. It was coming down the slope, and my farmer friend saw that his son had gone to bring her from the bus stand. And I was in a motorcycle, I had come a little ahead, that they had forgotten to put the pin.
Oh my God.
By mistake. And so somehow it came those 4 kilometers, otherwise the wheel would have gone.
My God.
They would have got injured. So I think that's why they say marriages are made in heaven.
Yeah.
So somehow it came through, and we got married. We had 2 daughters there. So that's the reason I had a lot of other businesses. I had a motorcycle business, for a dealership for Enfield motorcycles.
Restaurant?
I had a Udupi restaurant.
Yeah.
I had an agriculture consultancy company. I died many deaths, but each time I came up.
Yeah.
Each time I drowned, but I came up. And I mean, that is my story actually, that you rise and fall. So it's not the rising or the falling, it is how you rise each time you fall. I mean, that is the thing. So everybody falls.
Absolutely.
But how do you rise after you fall?
Yes.
Is the key. Victor Hugo said, the glory of man is not in falling, but in rising each time you fall. And that's how it was. And then I came to Bangalore and started the helicopter company and then the airline.
Yeah, your wife has been a big support, isn't it?
I was all the time dreaming, and I was also not dreaming and planning a lot. I used to dream and jump into the venture. That got me into a lot of trouble. It also got me out of trouble. You know, when I say it got me out of trouble, because if I knew all the obstacles,
Right.
then I wouldn't have started that venture.
True. So coming from such a background, Captain, having a dream of starting an airlines, it requires a huge capital. So how did you raise the money? Because people have to start believing.
Yeah, if you look at the story of all the entrepreneurs, see, it was not the money that took them to success. It was the energy, it was the passion, it was the ideas, it was the commitment, it was the dream. If that is there, that energy and passion is more important than capital. It was true then, it's true today, it's true tomorrow. If you have that, then like the river to the sea, somebody will find you and give you the money. You need to believe in yourself, and you have to show that you can't simulate it, like in a simulator of aircraft. You can't simulate. You have to believe in it. You can't play act it. And if you are totally committed to that, and whatever you have, you put it. So I had a small apartment that time, and I pledged it. That was all I had. That small apartment would not even buy the blade of one helicopter. In a helicopter, you know, there are what blades there. Even a blade you can't buy. But I put what I had. My colleague Captain Samuel put what he had. But then, you know, because we had the idea, we had everything else, then somebody came and said, okay, we'll give some money and give us some shares. And that's what I did in the Deccan Charters, the helicopter company, and same thing with the airline, which is there more in my book.
Right.
So you need to have the ability to take the risk. If you don't take the risk, that means you are now saying, I don't believe it. I will not put my 10,000 rupees. But you put the money, and I will not take salary, but you put the money. Then, you know, the guy will say, look, if you are not ready to lose your only 10,000 rupees, all that you have in your life is 1 lakh. All that you have is one small house. If you are not ready to risk that, then how do you expect me to put 100 crores? You know, is the question that will come into my mind. So you have to be ready to put everything on the, you know, for the venture. Taking off on a venture, it may not be a airline venture. Any venture is taking off on a wing and a prayer. That means you are off now, and nobody else is there except you trying to, you know, float and your prayer.
Right.
So you have to demonstrate that courage to believe in yourself.
So being a successful entrepreneur, who are your most favorite entrepreneurs at present?
Many of them. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you have to ask whom I have not learned from. You know.
Oh, okay.
Well, many. You know, of course, you are the greatest star. You know, Walt Disney is there. Sam Walton is there. Walt Disney said, "If you can dream it, you can do it. You know, if you are dreaming it, then you can do it." It looks unreal, but it's true. See, entrepreneurship is not just building something. It is the ability to see what others cannot see.
Right.
Is the ability to create something which was not there before. You know, to create a new market which did not exist. That is entrepreneurship. Like credit card. The guy who invented credit card is a genius. Bill Gates is a genius, or Steve Jobs is because they created a new market. Or Google, they created something which did not exist before. Of course, anybody who's an entrepreneur, you go and set up a Udupi hotel, you're a great entrepreneur. But somebody who changes the industry, changes the way people do business, changes the lives of people, he is a great entrepreneur, and we have many of them in the West, not so many in India, but very great entrepreneurs are here, because India somehow historically went through all this bureaucracy, before that British rule, and we missed the industrial revolution, but I think it's going to happen.
Right. Which is the one thing that turns you off when you hire an employee?
I mean, attitude.
Attitude.
Yeah, attitude, and also the ability to be curious.
People are going to watch the film. They're going to get inspired by your story. They're going to get a glimpse of your life. So what would be your message to them? People will be watching it now.
Yeah, I think you should not lose yourself in despair. Don't lose yourself in cynicism. You have to lose yourself in action. Continued enthusiasm, like Montaigne said. Continued enthusiasm is the wisdom of life.
Great. Thank you so much, Captain. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Great. Take care.
Yeah. இந்த வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக் பண்ணுங்கள். இதே மாதிரி நிறைய வீடியோஸ் பண்ண தான் போகிறோம். உங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஃபேமிலிக்கு மறக்காமல் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்கள். என்ன தோணுதோ கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்கள். 52 லட்சம் பேர் எங்கள் ஃபேமிலிக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ நீங்களும் மறக்காமல் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள்.
இப்போ பார்க்க போகிறது கன்னியாகுமரி மீன் குழம்பு.
ஏன் மெட்ராஸ்லலாம் வச்சா
போலீஸ் பிடிச்சிருமா?
செம.
SRM School of Film Technology, Ramapuram offers 3 years degree program in film technology. I am proud to be an alumni.
sweetkadai.com திருநெல்வேலி ஹல்வா போன்ற நம்ம ஒரு ஃபேமஸ் தின்பண்டங்களை இப்போவே ஆர்டர் பண்ணுங்க.